for joining us for the Discover Your Power YouTube channel. I am so happy to introduce you to my dear friend and my special guest, Jackie Martinez.
Hi! Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my God, thank you for being here. What you guys don't know is that this interview has been over a year in the making. I've been wanting to interview Jackie so she could have the opportunity to tell her story, and I'm so excited that you guys are not only going to get to see what an amazing person she is, but also hear her story and how she's been able to discover her power and overcome. So can you tell the audience, our Discover Your Power warriors, a little bit about yourself? And can you tell us maybe 3 things that you want them to know about you?
Okay, so I am a wife, a sister, a daughter, a friend, a business owner. Me and my husband own a business, True Home Builders. It's general contracting and roof contracting business. I love music. I cannot imagine life without music.
Yes.
I like to go to church, and I like to work out and ride my bike and take things apart and put them back together.
Yes. Okay. She's a very creative soul. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Would you say that about yourself?
I would. Like, I love to work with my hands.
Right. Yeah. Anything you want them to know about your company, True Home Builders?
If you have any leaks, if you need a new roof, if you just want someone to come out and look at it, call us. We will help you. We have, it's free. We just want to help you have a good home for your family. So
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I really want the audience to know how you've been able to discover your power. So can you tell the audience what disease it was that you were actually diagnosed with?
So in June of 2015, I was diagnosed with Hodgkin lymphoma. It is cancer of they say it's a blood cancer, so it's cancer of your lymphatic system, though. So I like to say it's like leukemia and lymphoma are cousins.
Okay.
And what was first told to me as, oh, don't worry, you're going to be fine, and I am. Glory to God. But, so they said, oh, you have an 80% cure rate, and they staged me and everything, and I think I was a stage 2, but so my journey started in July.
Stage 2 cancer,
yes.
When you were diagnosed.
Because the way that works is, so like stage 2 is from here up, and then when it goes down more into like your organs or your bone marrow, then that's 3 and 4. Wow. Is what I was told. So, the way that I found out that I had Hodgkin lymphoma was I had a lump here in my neck. And at first I just thought it was a lymph node, swollen lymph node, because we have lymph nodes everywhere. And when people kind of get sick, they swell up.
They do.
So I just thought, I didn't really think anything of it until it kept growing and it was getting hard. And I was like, that's not right, but I just kept putting it, I'm like, I ride my bike every day. I work out. I'm healthy.
And that's what most people do. When we get sick, then we just rationalize it. We tell ourselves another story.
Yep.
Just to brush it under the rug.
And deep down, though, after the time went on and it was getting harder and bigger, I was like, this isn't right. Whatever it is, I need to get it checked out. And I started kind of Googling and doing research, and I was getting really fatigued and tired, and I'm naturally a tired person. I love to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, but it was like a different tired. It was something that I couldn't push through.
How old are you? Just so we can have an understanding.
I'm 33 now. When I got diagnosed, I was 29.
Okay, so for a 29-year-old to be extremely tired, that's not normal.
Mm-hmm. So it was like, there was that, and then I was getting I was itching and having night sweats, and it was just really weird itching.
Yeah.
So those were my symptoms, and I didn't have health insurance at the time because I just never cared because I was always healthy.
Yeah.
So I had to it started out my journey, my quest to figure out what this was first I got acupuncture because I was like, I don't like the doctor. I'm a very holistic, natural way. So I got acupuncture, and she helped me. She said, but if in 2 to 3 times this doesn't go away, I really do want you to go to a doctor, a professional. And I said, okay.
Yeah.
And I was having severe pain in my sternum, but I thought that was just from the gym. And that was because that was where the biggest mass was. They called it a hot spot.
Wow. And did you feel the mass in your sternum at the time?
That's actually, I didn't feel the mass. It just hurt so bad, almost like I pulled something at the gym. It was hard to breathe.
Okay.
And that's actually what sent me to the ER. That's finally how I got diagnosed, because I was going to getting scans and this and that. And it's like, all that in itself is really hard. So when I finally got diagnosed, it felt like a burden I felt relief. I was almost like, thank you. Like, I've been waiting for this.
Can I just say, a part of doing this interview is, one, so you can tell your story, but two, I want it to be a healing process, therapeutic, because when we are diagnosed with a disease, it's really hard to talk about or even find someone to relate to. So when I was diagnosed with lupus, it was the weirdest thing. I felt relief, a weight lifted off my shoulders, like, thank God it's lupus. Now what do we do?
You start to think that you're crazy or something. And then you have everybody telling you, like, oh, no, like, you're just so healthy. Like, that could never happen. And let me tell you, people, diseases, all that doesn't discriminate. Like, it doesn't matter how healthy you are, how healthy you are not, what you eat, it does not, and there's nothing wrong with you, too. Like, there's nothing wrong with you if you get something. Like, this isn't anybody's fault, like.
Thank you for saying that.
But, so...
You went to the ER.
I went to the ER, and it was so fun because here I was. I went at night. I made my husband take me. He wasn't my husband yet, but now he is. And
shout out to Ozzy.
I love him. He's so good. But so that night they were like, well, what you're telling us doesn't really, match, and they kind of sent me away, and they said, maybe you should come back in the morning. So I came back in the morning because it was just to the point I couldn't take it anymore, the pain that I was having. And so when I got there, it was so funny. I told the doctor everything, and I was like, look, this is what I think I have. After all the research and scans I've done, this is really what I think's going on,
What did you think was going on?
I thought I had lymphoma. Or like HIV or something, and they gave me an HIV test. And the man, I'll never forget it, he was an older man, and he was so nice, and he said, if everything you're saying is true, just know you're going to be okay, and, it's okay. So they admitted me, they started doing scans, and they could see they thought, but it wasn't until I got a biopsy that's when they knew for sure.
Yeah.
So, that's when the treatment started.
So wait, you got the biopsy, and then can you tell me what happened in that moment? Where were you when they actually told you what you had?
Oh, okay. So, I got the biopsy. I go home, and I'll never forget, it was, it's almost like, I don't know if you felt this way, but when you're the one kind of going through it, it's almost like you're just like, you're just kind of going through it. It's not till you have time to, like, go back and think.
And process.
Yes. Okay, so I left, and it took like a week or a few days for them to be able to tell me, and at this time I was still working. I was a server downtown at Poorhouse, and I'll never forget, I went to work, and they called me, and it was right before a shift, and they told me, yes, it is positive, and you do have lymphoma. And I'll never forget, I just cried that day. And right before my shift, because it was almost like, I still looked healthy and good.
Same.
No one would have ever known anything. And I remember the two people I was working with that day, they were the first to know. And then I just did my shift, and my story is I've never really told my story, so this is so interesting to really think about it piece by piece, because you know how I told you I got acupuncture, and I wanted her to help me.
Yeah.
Well, she had never seen anything, so she started really doing research on how to treat me.
Okay.
Well, I met my acupuncturist at the yoga studio I went to.
Okay.
And she was doing research. She had another yoga teacher that had lymphoma, and every single thing that my acupuncturist was telling her, she goes, it sounds exactly like lymphoma.
Wow.
I need to talk to her.
Wow.
And she's the one who told me to go to the ER.
Look at that.
And so, God works in amazing ways. I don't believe anything happens for
by coincidence.
Exactly. Like, you are destined, and you meet people, and people are put in our lives, to help us, because my acupuncturist is a friend today now and still helps me, and still it's a beautiful relationship, you know. And so, okay, I did the ABVD. I remember just feeling like almost excited in the weirdest way to just conquer it, and I had a plan for myself, and that's what set me up for failure, because I put expectation and I was very much let down.
Does that mean a plan to cure the lymphoma, to heal yourself?
Yes.
Okay, so why do you believe that you set yourself up for failure with this plan?
Because in my head, and also what the girl that I had met that had lymphoma told me her story. So I'm just looking at her.
You're
thinking,
comparing now. Okay.
And I'm like, well, this is what she went through, and so we're going to be the same. We're kind of similar. So I'm going to do 6 months of this chemo, then I'm going to have 6 months to recuperate, and shoot, in 1 year, I'm good. Like, no, that's not how it
I remember talking to you, and you still are. Jackie is one of the most positive people that I know. You were so positive, and you were like, it's going to be fine. I'm going to do this treatment, and just like you said, like, you were already looking at the finish line. So tell us what actually happened.
So I was probably had 2 treatments left, so they're giving me another scan to just see where I'm going. And they still saw in the hot spot that there was still some there. So they said, we now want you to do this treatment ice, which is really hard. And I'll never forget, my dad was at the doctor with me that day, and when they told me that, I was like, felt defeated, like I had just got knocked down, because I never even saw that coming. Like, that wasn't even like I never thought, because when they told me that I had lymphoma, they were like, oh, if you could pick any cancer, this would be the one to pick. It's an 80% cure rate.
Wow. Okay.
So that's what always kept replaying in my head. So I'll never forget, that took me some time to really get over, and I did what no one else, I decided to tell them no. So for 5 to 6 months, I did all natural.
So you told them no to what specifically?
To the ice treatment that they wanted me to do.
Okay.
I said, no, I want to try natural. I want to try different avenues. And I think it's because I felt let down. So now I felt like, you know what? I really just trusted the doctor, and I trusted what they said. And now I want to kind of do my own research, because that's another thing. When you first get told whatever disease you have, you just trust what they say, because it's so much to take in.
Right.
That you're just like, and then when you have time to process through it, you are like, well, wait, I do have some time. Let me not feel so rushed.
Yeah.
So I said no. They looked at me crazy. They thought I was nuts. And I took time. And even my own parents, my own family were like, Jackie, what are you doing? Like, you have to do this.
But do you know what that is called? I don't know if you've ever labeled it, but I call that advocating for yourself. Because as a patient, we are told so many different things that we need to start doing by so many different people that are professionals in our field, and we trust them, which that's not a bad thing. But we also have a responsibility to ourselves to discover our power, to do our research, educate ourselves, and figure out what works best for us. Because to your point, what worked best for your friend who has the same disease may not work best for you, because your bodies are different.
It's so true.
So tell me, how did you advocate for yourself? What did you do after that?
So when I told the doctors no, and I said I wanted to kind of try natural stuff, and my parents thought I was crazy, everybody thought I was crazy. I even wondered, am I crazy? But I knew, like you just said, that I'm an adult, and I can't live for my parents or anyone else, because I had to flat out tell my parents, look, if something happened to me and I died because I did what you guys wanted me to do, I'm going to be pissed. But if something happened to me and I did what I wanted to do, I have peace with that.
Yeah.
And that's when I think they finally were like, they understood, and they just had to respect it, because I was an adult. And so I really I took that time, I tried to eat really good, and I was really, though, gung-ho. Like, I thought it had to be one or the other, like either all chemo or all natural. Like, you can't do, and I was set on healing myself, which I learned that I'm not going to heal myself. Like, God's going to heal me. I had to believe I'm already healed. Like, you know, it's not, and so there were so many just lessons that I still even learn today.
Yeah.
And so during that time, my itching was coming back. Everything was starting to come back. And I gave myself 5 to 6 months. I said, if in this amount of time the symptoms get worse, then I obviously do have to do what the doctors want me to.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't end up going back on ice, or I started ice.
Okay.
Every 3 weeks I would get chemo for 3 days. And one of the days I had to take the chemo home for 24 hours. So
Okay.
It was just really hard and a lot stronger than the very first ABVD that I did.
Okay.
But I will tell you that I'm very happy that in the time when I tried to heal myself naturally, I never looked at that as, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I'm actually very happy that I did that, and I feel that I was supposed to do that because that kind of got me ready to receive something really hard instead of like ABVD, ice, like keep getting knocked down. I kind of was able to rebuild my body back up for what it was about to endure. And so this was only probably the first year and a half. I went through ice. Then I had to do a bone marrow transplant, which was like, when I got told that, I was just like, again, a knockdown.
You've worked on yourself so many different ways and gone through all the different treatments. So how were you able to discover your power to overcome lymphoma cancer?
I didn't get my first clear scan until this year, 2019. So I've had knockdown after knockdown after knockdown. And, you know, my dad told me, Jackie, this isn't a 6-round fight, it's a 12-round fight, and you got to keep going. And I was just like, you know, you're right. Like, it's taught me so much about life. I honestly, cancer's blessed me. I thank it. I thank God for putting me through that, because it just makes me who I am today and understand life differently. When you think about it and you really wonder, am I going to die? Like, you just really like, am I going to die? And there were so many times I just threw in the towel, because I was like, after getting let down every single time, like it would be a really good scan, but there's a little something. So you just want to throw in the towel. And there were times I had a pity party for myself. I made a playlist of all the songs that made me sad, and I would just be like, that's it, God, just take me. I'm going. I'm done. But I wouldn't stay there. And you taught me that. You would say, it's good to, you need to feel what you want to feel, but you can't stay there.
Yep.
And it's true.
Honor your feelings.
That's why I keep her around me, because I keep certain people strategically around me. Every friend that I have, I could tell you, I admire so much. They all help me in different ways. But for anyone watching that might be going through something, so that, you know, when you don't get what you want right away, don't give up. It's just not your time. You're not where you're supposed to be in the journey and in the lesson. Because if I would have, you know, only had it for 1 year, I wouldn't be as strong as I am today. Yeah. It taught me to not give up, you know, never stop fighting. And currently today I'm on an immunotherapy called Keytruda.
Okay. And
it's the first thing that's helped me. This month, October, I've been on Keytruda 1 year now.
Wow.
So last October was a dark place for me, because I had been off treatment and I was doing really good. Me and my husband talked about, we're going to try to have kids now. And then again, that's why I set up this plan. And then here, you know, I get told, no, you have to start treatment again.
I remember, you know, sometimes when you are going through your difficulties, it also affects the people around you. So can you tell us, you know, how has this affected, you talked about how it affected possibly you and Ozzy wanting to have children. So what happened as far as like your relationship with your husband and your friends and your plans?
In the very beginning, it was so hard, because I felt like everybody's life was just going on and mine just stopped. And I would feel left out a lot, and I knew to never take it personal, because I'm sick, and, you know, people don't know how to treat you or what to say, and I couldn't do it anyways. But it's like scrolling, which I don't have social media anymore because it steals my joy, so that's a whole nother topic. But
okay.
So, but I would just lay there, because, I mean, every day, like I said, everyone's life's going on, and you're just sitting here not feeling good, waiting. And I was like waiting for this to be done so I could live. And it wasn't until I just shifted my thinking over
Yes.
time.
Yep.
You know, like the way we think is roots.
Yeah. You have to practice shifting your mindset.
Exactly.
It's a daily practice to shift.
Exactly. And it's like, these are roots that have taken, you know, I like to say we are plants.
Yeah.
Change happens at the roots.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I love plants. But, so that was, you know, and Ozzy, he was thank God for Ozzy, because we were only together about a year and a half before I got diagnosed, and he married me through cancer, you know, and I know that some people leave. So, you know, that alone, that I had not only just, you know, friends and family, but that I had a spouse and a significant other that supported me is, you know, amazing. Because just knowing that someone was there, because he worked a lot. And so I was at home a lot all day, just laying down and not feeling good. And it's almost like when I look back on things, you're in this fight or flight mode. Like a lot of it, some of it I don't even remember. You just do what you got to do. You don't even...
To survive.
Exactly. It's survival mode.
It is.
Because something was said to me, and again, it was like these pivotal moments. It was like, you know, you have something in you that's literally trying to kill you. So if you don't fight against it, you know, it will. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until I understood that I can do natural and medicine together. I didn't have to choose one or the other. I can use them together.
Wow.
And I also found a doctor. Find a doctor that listens to you. And it doesn't make you feel crazy because you like to drink green drinks and you maybe like or want to know about medical marijuana, or you aren't like, you know, don't let them make you feel funny for that.
Yeah. Can you tell us, like, what's the biggest misconception that people have when it comes to dealing with someone that has cancer?
I think the biggest misconception is, you know, if you want to know how they're doing, just ask them, just check on them, because don't get offended if you don't hear from them, because you don't really know how they feel. They probably don't want to be a burden to you, but also it's better to know that someone's thinking of you than wonder, well, God, you never hear, because some of my friends just dropped off and then come to find out it's because they were so scared. They didn't know what to do, and they were kind of going through their own emotions. And I tell, you know, you have the person going through it, and then you have other people that...
Yeah.
And it's funny because sometimes I had to be the strong one for everybody else. I had to sit around and tell you guys, I'm okay. Like, I'm not going to die. This isn't going to take me. I'm okay. Like, I'm sure you've had to be the strong one for other people, you know?
It's funny that you say that, but I have, and it's kind of like the roles are kind of flipped sometimes, because when you are going through it, your loved ones are going through it also in their own way.
And something that I wanted to say, another reason why cancer was a blessing to me and why I look at it that way, is because when you get cancer, bottom line, people wonder if you're going to die, or they think you're going to die. And cancer is not a death sentence, you know? And I had people coming out of the woodworks telling me how much they love me and checking on me. And it was amazing to see how much I'm loved. And tell people how you feel. Tell people that you love them. You're never promised tomorrow. And we always wait to tell people how we feel. Yeah. And, you know, it's like you never hear what someone really thought about you until you're dead or something. And I was blessed because people thought I was going to die. So they're like, checked on me, loved me, all these things. And now that's like given me a voice and like it's let me know, because I've also suffered with mental illness that I don't really, that's the thing with mental illness. You look at people and they look good. You don't know the chemical imbalance or what they're going through. Mm-hmm. And so, and if people with mental illness were told how much they're loved, I bet you that would help them. You know, all in all, when I just look at all of it, it's been a beautiful thing. And with the kids, I hope to have kids one day. We hope to have kids one day, but we've also talked about adoption or, you know, just different avenues. And I really believe what's meant for me will be for me. So if we're supposed to have kids, we will.
It's all okay. I mean, society tells you that you're supposed to do things in a certain order. It just depends on what works best for you. That's really what it comes down to.
With my faith, I really learned how to just pray and wait. The way that I would move forward with things was when I got peace. And I knew that I knew. Like, if I still didn't have peace, then I wouldn't make the decision. I had to learn to, like, wait. Like, I'm not going to get my answer in maybe 2 days. Maybe it's going to take a week. But I had to learn to slow down because I'm not in a rush. The only thing that we all have promised is death, not to be morbid. But when, you think about that, it's like, why are we rushing so much through life, Let me have peace about these decisions I make. I don't want to just make the decision and then I don't have peace about it.
Yeah. We are literally taught that we need to do things a certain way and we need to think a certain way. But I feel like the more that you are able to grow into your own and the more authentic you are able to be, you get to know what works for you. And personally, I've seen this in my life and the lives of others. I do experience that sense of peace when I know that I'm being guided in the right direction. And that's when I know that I'm making the right decision for myself, not based on what other people tell me. I consider that and I take it in, but ultimately I have to feel good about how I'm going to lead my life.
That's so true.
And having an illness has really helped me figure that out, because at the end of the day, it's your life. You're in survival mode. You got to learn your body, listen to your body, and know what's best for you. And if you are someone that has faith, God's guidance and hand on your life is everything. And you can feel when He's working through you. And He will give you that sense of peace to know, Jackie, this is the way to go. Jackie, I'm guiding you here. This is a person I want you to talk to. This is the right treatment plan for you.
It's so true.
What is the most important thing that you've learned about yourself after being able to discover your power and overcome having lymphoma cancer?
Just to never give up. You get hit and you fall down, but you get back up. And that was hard because I think maybe did give up. I hate to admit it. In my life, looking back when things got hard, I'm like, oh, I'm good now. And you just I didn't have like that perseverance. So this has taught me that even when you don't get what you want, you just keep going because eventually you will. And it's just taught me how to surrender my life. Like I keep saying, God gets the glory because there's something so much bigger than us. Like we don't know. I couldn't get through this on my own because, I never asked why, because why will get you in trouble. Like, you're never going to know why, so don't get hung up on that.
So why am I going through this and sitting in self-pity?
Yep.
Instead, what should someone do?
Just try to think about all the things that you do have that you're thankful for. I mean, that we are healthy, that, you have a bed to sleep in and a roof over your head and food to eat, just the essential. You just go back to the basics. And when I would get on my knees and just be thankful for what I did have, that really kept me going. I think really just that, just to kind of slow down, because that's another thing. I was always out and about, and I think, that's kind of the American way. You're if you're not always doing something, you kind of feel like you're lazy.
Yeah.
And I had to learn to, it's okay to be at home.
It's okay to rest.
Yep. It's like, I had to learn rest does not make me lazy. I need rest. It's okay to be still. It's okay to, and in the beginning, it took me a while because I was still, I would tell everybody, I'm not dead, so I'm going out to hang. And I was like, no. I'm stubborn. I'm Miss Independent. And so I had to get broken down to be, I think, to understand kind of what I do now.
Yep. Which is what? What do you understand now after going through all of this?
Just that it's always going to be okay. And, I was depressed a long time growing up and would even think about death at times. And then when you're faced with it and think, am I really going to die? That's when I was like, well, I'm not ready to die yet. Wait, hold on. All these thoughts went through my head. And then now it's just accepting that, I'm good with whatever happens because I know that I'm healed. And, just that really.
It's a sense of peace.
A sense of peace,
Yeah.
yes.
if you were to look back at the changes that you did make when it came to your health and wellness to help you overcome lymphoma cancer, what are some of those health and wellness principles that that have really helped you get through?
So I tried, I looked into all the different eating, vegetarian, vegan, eating for your blood type, which is something that really stuck out to me. And I would try them all, and I would journal how they made me feel, and I would think, and I think it's just our body really is our temple, and something that I've been saying lately that we all know the cars we drive and the houses we live in, but none of us know the body that we live in. And I didn't know it until I had to research. I didn't know what my lymphatic system was, know, and I really learned, and I'm still learning. And so, I try to drink more water. Everything we put on, from like lotions to all that's going into our skin.
Yes.
Like when I learned that I'm eating for fuel. Yeah, I love to eat because it tastes good. I love food, but
the primary reason to eat is to fuel your body.
Exactly. And so I have this little vision. I feel like we have all these workers in our body that, you have all these jars on the shelf, and whatever you eat goes into each jar. And one of the jars might be depleted because you just keep eating the same things, or you're not eating the right minerals and nutrients. So that's the biggest thing, is really what I eat.
Yep.
But then the crazy thing to that is stress, because if you're stressing yourself out over what you eat, because this is what I did, you're basically counteracting. It doesn't matter, because you need to be happy, bottom line. If you're stressed and not happy, it doesn't matter what you do. Because I really believe that stress and depression is what probably maybe gave me cancer, because that releases cortisol in your body, which is acidic, and you want to be more alkaline. And the standard American diet, which is SAD, SAD, standard American diet, is very acidic.
So drinking, I believe that you said drinking water, watching what you're eating, and then being mindful of stress. So, this sharing is really to help anybody that's going through anything traumatic in their lives or anything that they need to overcome, but specifically for individuals dealing with cancer. So what is something that you can share with anybody that's struggling with their own battle of cancer?
So I've learned now, after 4 years of going through this is my testimony. And when Lizeth came to me probably about a year or two ago and asked me to share my story, I thought I was ready, but I wasn't. This is my first time sharing it, and it's my testimony, and it's allowing me to help others. But you go through so many emotions because you're like, well, I don't want to be a victim, and I don't want to sound this way or that way, or, cancer doesn't define me. All these things, but yet it is a part of my life, and it's how I can help other people. And it's learning to kind of just coming to my own understanding about it. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think what you said is so powerful, because the fact that you can, one, be so strong to have gone through everything you've gone through, and two, feel comfortable enough to share it with all of us is a beautiful thing. And I thank you so much, because I know it's been a journey for you, watching you go through it, and I admire you so much, and I love you so much, and I think you are so powerful.
We've really connected because even though you don't have cancer, you still have an illness or a disease? How would you classify lupus?
An autoimmune disease.
So you understand not feeling good and all these things that, unless you've gone through it, you never really will understand. So you get all that, and so that's just a special thing that we share. But I wanted to say that, I'm so thankful for my family and my friends and my mom. Both of my grandparents died of cancer, and my mom, she was one of the only ones that really, even though she's never been through cancer, I really felt like she understood how I felt. And, I could go to her and I don't know. So I'm just really thankful that I had the family that I have. You know, sometimes my heart goes out to people that don't have anybody, you know, and so these are the things that why I'm so blessed. So
amen to that.
Yep.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience when it comes to you, when it comes to cancer awareness, lymphoma cancer awareness?
So I did have a statistic I wanted to read because so you have your blood, which your heart pumps your blood. Your lymphatic system, nothing pumps that except movement. So that's why it's so important to walk or to work out, because when you don't, it gets stagnant. Okay. So, you know, that's what our lymphatic system is. I have this thing I wanted to read that. So it says, there are about 600 lymph nodes in the body. These nodes swell in response to infection due to buildup of the lymph fluids. Then that's how bacteria and things are going to build up, because there's no pump. You know, your heart's pumping your blood, but unless you're moving, your lymphatic system can just sit there. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I found it really interesting that, you know, just be in tune with your body. Know your body.
Moving. We have to move it.
Yep.
We have to keep moving.
Yep, our body is our temple, and really it does so much for us every day that we just don't even realize that it's working to fight off so many things. And you know what they say when, like, for instance, when you get diagnosed with cancer, they say that it's been in your body for like 10 years or something.
Wow.
So, you know, there's just things that our body does for us that we are not even aware of.
Yeah.
So
that's so powerful. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
Yeah. I want to thank you for taking the time to educate us on cancer, specifically Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer. September was Hodgkin's Lymphoma Cancer Awareness Month. So thank you for taking the time to be here with us and share your story, be open and vulnerable. And thank you for being a fighter. What is it?
A cancer
fighter. A fighter with the light.
Yes, fighter with the light.
Thank you for being a fighter with the light. Thank you so much. Yes. Love you.
Love you.
Record. Make sure I'm not too boobalicious. Okay.
Can I have a tissue?
Yes.
And you can really go and edit this stuff out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't care. Hey, boogie in your, what's
No,
that
it's okay.
joke? Put a little boogie in your tissue and make it boogie. Okay. Anyways. So I don't remember what the question was if I answered it, but I hope I did.
Well, and it's kind of like how you were talking about that our roots, right? Mm-hmm. And you know, our ability to. I don't know where I was going with that.
It's okay. You want to ask me a different question?
Yeah.
Okay.